Hey guys, welcome back to the ocean. Theory Chum here. We got Chum still swimming around. Today we're here to talk about the FNAF2 movie. So guys, I went and saw it yesterday on my day off. I worked today and now I'm making this video so we can talk about some things. I went and saw it, and I'm gonna say, unlike what critics say, and of course I am a fan of FNAF, and that's who the movie was directed to. I liked the movie. I thought it was a very good time. I liked it more than the first one even, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the first one as well. I do think that there's some pretty big things that I have the answer to. I've seen a lot of people ask it, so I think if you guys just stick with me, I'm gonna make really great sense in today's video. So the first thing I want to talk about are the reviews and my personal interpretation as to why they are as they are. I'm not gonna be like other people. I'm not gonna tell you I'm unbiased. I am very biased. You may not like that, and that's okay, but this is a FNAF channel, like, what would you expect? But at the same time, I am keeping a level of realism with my bias. So, with that being said, a lot of the critics I've seen is they're saying that the plot isn't all there, that it's very derivative, it's very sloppy. Um, I just wanna say, like, the plot is there. We don't have the whole plot yet. If anything, and this is where it really hits me, I go back to the first 3 Jurassic Park movies. You had Jurassic Park 1, amazing classic, amazing standalone film. Then you had Jurassic Park: The Lost World, that built off what you had in the first one, but then also established more lore for there to be another movie. And I'll say back in the '90s, early 2000s, the internet was really starting to get up its big boom back then. So we didn't know that there was going to be a future Jurassic Park movie. We didn't know there was going to be a 2, and then going into 2, a selective amount of people knew that there was going to be a 3 until of course it started getting advertised. That's not the case today. For instance, we already know there's going to be a FNAF 3. We know that. Media is way out there. We know that there's a 3 movie deal. Scott's confirmed it. Matthew Lillard's confirmed it. A lot of people have confirmed it. So, with that being said, I wanna say, and I'm not, I am a big fan of of both series, and I am obviously a bigger fan of dinosaurs. Um, so, like, obviously, the FNAF movie is not impactful or huge as Jurassic Park is even still to this day. Um, I believe if FNAF started at the same time, we would be having a different conversation. But I believe the Jurassic Park legacy itself and what it did in its time set it apart from FNAF. But with that part being said, I think that the Lost World of Jurassic Park and FNAF 2 are very similar. They're If you look at the Lost World, it's an entertaining story, but the peak points of that movie are the ones that connect back to Malcolm's first time on the Isla Nublar. And then it also opens up for more islands as you go and you see the map and the old buildings that I can't remember the character's name. And I just watched it not even that long ago. It was the guy photographer that was going along with Malcolm and his girlfriend. Um, but then it set up the lore. And so whenever we look at Jurassic Park, those first 3 movies, we look at them at their entirety, we give them that credit. And I think FNAF also deserves that credit because it's made very, very clear. Even though it's not even talking about the media stuff, but in the movie itself, it's being made very, very clear that this is a bridge. We're being taken from one point and we're being shown this is what happened after the FNAF movie and its results, and this is how the people are trying to move on. And then it's connecting us into the big plot point of where the movie's going to end. I will give my like one good grief I had about the movie. I think that if they were going to end on a cliffhanger, they took too long and panning out was not the right idea. After Vanessa got possessed by the marionette, I think they should have just cut to the credits right then and there because panning out kind of made you think that they were going to lead to something else, and it kind of threw off the entire cliffhanger for me. With that stuff being said, I want to talk about the main twist of the movie. I'm going to do another video on another topic about the movie, but that's more of like how it confirms quantum agony and a couple more CIA examples we got. But for this video, I want to talk about Michael Afton being revealed as Freddie Carter's character and how he is the bad guy in the movie. He's the BBEG of FNAF2. So I want us to think about how Michael Afton behaved in the movies. He was misleading people. He was a servant to his father. He was faithful and loyal even against his sister. Those traits already resemble someone we know from the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Those are traits of Elizabeth Afton. I believe in the movie universe, in this timeline, the roles are flipped, and that Vanessa, Elizabeth's stand-in from the games, is Michael Afton's plot point of the games. And then Michael Afton is Michael Afton from the games, but he's the loyal servant that is Elizabeth's stand-in for her behavior through the games, right? And I think Vanessa is actually Michael Afton. Hopefully I didn't just say that backwards. I'm going to edit that out if I did. If not, we're having like an awkward moment right now. So like, I'm sorry. Okay. So I want to go more into that too. People ask, why two Michaels? But if you look at the games, we have a perfect example. We have essentially two Elizabeths. We have Elizabeth Afton, who was manipulated by her father, raised up, faithful and loyal servant to him. Then we have Vanessa, who comes in later in the security breach era, who is supposedly, we don't know yet, not related, whom is just another person who ends up being a night guard, even though it's through glitch trap. So it's very, and if Michael's already the loyal servant, that is reflecting of that, right? So Elizabeth and Vanessa in the games would reflect Michael and Mike in the movies in a situation that the timeline was swapped, and that Michael is the bad guy, is the Elizabeth of the movies, and Vanessa is the Mike Afton of the games. Now, whenever we talk about these things being in different timelines, we also have to remember that it doesn't necessarily change any of the lore in the games. And by that, I mean, it doesn't change like the plot, the story. And we really still, to this day, can't tell, okay, we can take this and say it isn't true. And we can take that and say that is true. Because it's a different continuity. And if things are swapped, we don't know exactly what's swapped and what's not. We would have to take through it with a fine-tooth comb and try to find those connections and parallels and stuff like that. To continue on, I want to continue on with this theory that we're gender swapped. I'm going to find a name for this by the end of this theory. We're going to come with it in this video, I promise you. We're going to go back to Vanessa. And I want to point out the moment that she was having her nightmare and that she went back into her dream state. Whenever she was doing that, she went into the closet and there was Circus Baby. And unlike Elizabeth in the games, Vanessa was terrified. She was like scared, speechless, like, ah, oh, Circus Baby. And if, like you recall, Elizabeth died in the games because she wasn't scared of Circus Baby. She was attracted to her. If she was scared of her, she would have never went for the ice cream and ended up scooped. So we can tell that in this timeline, since Vanessa didn't have that quality of Elizabeth, that she didn't get scooped by Baby. I know a lot of people are thinking that, but I don't think that's the case. And as far as Circus Baby goes, with Michael and them being swapped, I think we're actually going to get an innard scene where instead of Elizabeth getting scooped by Baby, we're gonna see Michael Afton in the movie get inside scooped by Innard. He's gonna get scoopered. Scuppered? S-C-U-P-E-R-D. So, there's just something else that I thought went along with this well, and I just wanna say, like, me and Gibby, Horace Homestead manipulated the 0-point field. He was doing this lottery thing, and you guys know I annoy everybody, like, endlessly, and he was going for the 0-point field, which is something you guys probably seen the video on already. I'm really obsessed with it, and I messaged him. I was like, "Man, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm being like, if you're gonna do this right,' and that wasn't my intention, but I was like, "Hey, if you're gonna do this, like, it'd be really cool to try it like how the actual parapsychologists tried it, like, try to have people sit in a dark room and start the Gonfeld effect by listening to either a low frequency between 4 and 8 hertz, ones that are shown to stimulate theta waves, or static. Because static is, if you don't know, static white noise contains all frequencies. So, and whenever I was talking to him about that, he replied back, which I love creators who keep in touch with their fans. Awesome. Awesome. He did hit me back, and he made a joke. He was like, "We should have them all," he's like, "I'm gonna have them all watch the FNAF1 screen with static." And then I did actually, like, 2 hours later, because I saw his reply when I woke up. And then I replied, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's neat." And I thought about it, and I was like, "No, we can't, that won't work." But then crazily enough, right, Vanessa goes to go into the dream state, and then she turns on a TV of static. I was just watching the movie, and I was grabbing Mrs. Chum's pant leg. And I was like, "I made this happen," knowing that, like, the movie had already, like, fully come out and already been done and stuff. So, I totally got on a tangent right there. We're gonna go ahead and get through this and try to come clear with it. I do believe that in the timeline of the FNAF movie, it's gender swapped. Michael Afton is Elizabeth. Vanessa is Mike Afton. Um, I do not believe that the kids have passed on. We're gonna talk more about that with the Quantum Agony video. Um, I think we were given some pretty heavy misdirects, and I think we were misdirected too heavily that it made it obvious, just to put it blandly. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out to the ocean tonight. I did want to talk about the movie and that major plot point because I believe it's a pretty big and easy explanation that a lot of people are too hyped about the reveal. Oh, excuse me. Or it's just a big question that's asked a lot. And I think it makes a lot of things make sense. And it lines up with why there's 2 Mikes, which a lot of people are questioning. Makes sense on why Michael's the bad guy, while at the same time he's the loyal servant. Oh, crap. Yeah. Okay, so there was one more point. So speaking of the loyal servant part, there was that line that Michael Afton requoted from William Afton from the dream sequence. William Afton was telling Vanessa, all of my children have a purpose. And then later on, Michael is like, "You're one of his children. All of his children have a purpose." He's mirroring that. That is mirroring. I think that's also mirroring how Elizabeth and William did in the games, where William was like, "I will put you back together," and then Elizabeth was like, "I will put you back together," and then Elizabeth's like, we will do what we were made to do," in the FFPS fire with the Henry ending that Henry cuts her off in. I think that's also a pretty solid connection to show that they're gender swapped. Thank you guys so much for floating in the ocean. If you did stick here through this and I want to hear your comments down below. Tell me what you thought of the movie. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you didn't. If you didn't, be prepared for me to argue with you. Um, half joking, half joking. But you guys make sure to swim your finger on over to the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll be bleh, keep floating in the ocean.